If your job is not super fulfilling and you are craving some sort of passion in your life, but you don't want to leave your career, I have some tips for you. Thing is, we can create a lot of fulfillment outside of our careers. Not every career needs to be our passion. Not every person needs their work to be their everything. If you are looking for that fulfillment, you can invest your time in a hobby, spend more time with people you love. Get into your community and volunteer. Get involved in local politics and actually get to watch the fruit of your labor mature and come to life in your community. Spend your time before and after work doing things that you actually like instead of things that are just going to optimize productivity.
Hello everyone, this is Emmanuel Cook. We will be reacting to a new video today, so make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's get into the video.
Spend a lot of years trying to understand fulfillment and burnout. Instead of telling you how to be more fulfilled in life, I'm going to tell you reasons that you are unfulfilled. Based on my experience and also the clients that I worked with. The biggest thing that makes people unfulfilled is not working on something that they genuinely care about. If you have a great job on paper, don't feel as fulfilled. At the core of it, maybe you don't really care about the service or the product that you're offering or the problem that you are solving. The second one is feeling like you are not able to bring in your own uniqueness. Genuinely feel like you can't bring out what's inside of you. Share that in a way that you want to, then that contributes to your unfulfillment. Can't bring in your humor, your uniqueness, your creativity. And that there is a big part of you that you have to put a mask on day to day during your work days, then that is also a factor. I think burnout, unfulfillment is less about the hours that you work, overworked you are, although of course that is a big factor as well. But the first three, I think, are the biggest reasons of all. Let me know what you think. If this is something that you actively want to work on, then let's have a chat. Link in my bio.
If your job is not fulfilling you, that is totally okay. The purpose of your job is not to fulfill you fully. You have a lot of things outside your job. You've got your family, you've got friends, you've got your tribe, you've got your hobbies, your side hustles, you've got interests, you've got pets. You are a full person with the job just being one part of your entire pie of a life. Maybe you like your job, that's great. Maybe you love your job, that's awesome. Maybe your job is your calling, that's amazing. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be able to change, because maybe 3 months from now, you might wake up and say, you know what? I thought that was my calling, but I actually want to try something different. Don't let it imprison you. Liberate yourself from the idea that your job has to be everything in your life. It doesn't mean you can't be ambitious. By all means, be ambitious. Go for the greater pay. Get promoted. Do what you need to do what you want to do. But always cultivate a life outside of your job. Cultivate an identity outside of your work identity. Cultivate circles outside of your professional circles. Because when your job becomes everything in your life, and it's the only thing that gives you that full meaning, it's a recipe for burnout. And when one day you don't have that job anymore for whatever reason, you may just start to crumble. Here's the thing, we are social creatures who are meant to have full, rich lives that are well-rounded, and work is just a part of it. It also means when something doesn't go well at work, it doesn't have the power over you to make you miserable. If it's a toxic workplace or it's re-triggering all of your traumas, then by all means, get a new job. But even then, when you go to a new job, don't make it all of your entire life. It is not there to fulfill everything about you. Also, you are not a failure if you don't love your job. I have worked in so many different jobs that I didn't love. Like, I've waited tables, I've hosted at restaurants, I've done summer camps, I've done all kinds of odd jobs. I even worked at a telecom center doing calls, asking people for money. I didn't love all my jobs. They didn't fulfill me. I never felt like a failure though, because I knew I was getting money, I was getting paid for it. And I knew that when I got off work, I had a life. I was going to go to my friends. I was going to go with my family. I was going to go and enjoy my walks and go exercise and do things that I loved outside of work. As long as it's not toxic, your job doesn't have to fulfill you and you don't have to love your job. You are not a failure. And as always in my coaching, I'm a coach, a career coach for smart and soulful women. It's all about what you want and what you need. And that can change, but it's all about you.
Now that I've been self-employed for about like 4 years now, I have really cracked the code here. Honestly, as somebody who's wanted a business ever since I was a kid, like knowing I want to be an entrepreneur, I didn't leave corporate to work less, to kind of like enjoy more, or like work-life balance. I think it really hit me a few years in, like, no, I don't think I want to like chill. Like, I'm not leaving my job, conventional living, to chill and like rest. I'm actually leaving to do more. I know we've all come to the conclusion that like when you work for yourself, you're trading 9 to 5 for 24/7. But I think it literally boils down to like what you're working on. I think the difference is, as an entrepreneur, you care a freaking lot about what you're working on. Obviously, the more you care about something, the more time you're going to spend with it. Like, think about a relationship. Like, you want to spend time with your partner, hopefully. You want to get to know them. You want to understand them. So it's literally the same thing, but like with a business. I think that's why the glamorization of entrepreneurship is so misaligned. It's like it's glamorizing all the rest, all the benefits, all the money, all the like attention or fame or whatever, when really the reality of it is all the opposite. But what people completely miss about that is like what you're working on is so rich and fulfilling. Like, if you think about it, all your good relationships, it's so fulfilling. You could spend all day talking to that person, doing things to that person. And I think what gets lost in translation is like quitting whatever job you have that's not fulfilling you, that's not making you happy, or that's making you depressed, whatever. It's not about just doing the opposite of work and just resting, which resting is not a bad thing. Like, intentional rest is a good thing. You actually need that for your business if you want to get stronger, if you want to get better, etc. But I think that's where the confusion happens, and I think that's what leads people to kind of be depressed after they leave or not know what to do, is because the idea of like how it's supposed to be is completely misaligned. Now that I've been working for myself, I work so much more. I still don't want to leave my desk, but it's for a different reason. I don't want to leave my desk because I want to figure something out. I want to learn more. I'm super curious about it. Like, I want to get as much done as possible. Like, it comes from a different place. So it's really not the side effects of corporate that are that bad, like working a lot or having to have a lot of meetings or whatever. It's really like, what are you putting that to? Like, where is that going? With entrepreneurship, that goes somewhere for me. But with corporate, it goes to somebody else's vision. That doesn't really impact me. Or I'm assuming most people are doing a job where it's not exactly their dream life. It's not exactly going to their dream job or vision, whatever. It's really the what. Like, what you're doing and why. I feel like that's the difference. It's not all of these perks that you see on the internet. Like, of course, with time, effort, and attention, you will get the perks of entrepreneurship, the time, the whatever, the freedom. But I think because you're working on something, or hopefully you're working on something that really means something to you, you will just want to keep working on that. And it can look very similar to somebody who's in corporate. It's just the difference is how fulfilling is it for you and your dream life, like what you want to do on this planet, your purpose.
Real talk about feeling unfulfilled in your career or in your work, which then affects everything else in your life. So over the weekend, I had some loved ones call me out on the fact that I'm not completing my checklist most days anymore. And if I'm not going to do that, what's the point of me even doing this challenge at all? It was a tough pill to swallow, but I'm really glad they said something, and I kind of wish they'd said something sooner. Truth be told, I am in a rut. I am very grateful for the job that I have, but I am feeling incredibly unfulfilled. My motivation is non-existent, and at the end of the day, I have no energy left and I just feel drained. I created this checklist and this challenge because I believe that this was a me problem, that I'm inherently lazy and I lack discipline. And while I think that is true to some extent, I think that's really who I am at my core. There is a drive and ambition that lives inside of me, and it is unleashed when the right thing comes along. I've been living in this vicious cycle for years now. Feel unfulfilled at work, feel sad, do the bare minimum. Then I wake up and realize that I can't go on like this. I need to make a change. The change is successful at first, but it's not sustainable because it's actually a band-aid solution, and I'm not sorting out the root cause of the issue. The solution may seem quite simple. Alice, just quit your job or find a new one. Well, recently I did try to find a new job, and I applied to a lot, and I got to the final round of a few interviews and I didn't get any of them, and it was really devastating. and I didn't have the energy to continue on with more job interviews at this time. I'm also now at a point where in my life where my decision doesn't just affect me, it affects my partner. And while he is supportive of me doing what I need to look after myself, we have goals, and I can't just quit my job so we don't meet those goals. Also, quitting my job in this economy would just be ridiculous, just like so silly. In the grand scheme of things, I have it really bloody good. I have a roof over my head, food in my fridge, a job that pays well, people around me who love me for who I am. With all that considered, like, I feel guilty for complaining, but at the same time, why do I keep gaslighting myself into thinking that feeling miserable is fine?
Your parents are not going to understand what you're going through, right? Because at least for my parents, they were just like, what do you mean? You know, like, you have a good job, you have a good salary, like, I think they described it as like, you're bored. Like, I mean, so many people wish they were bored at their jobs and got paid what you get paid. A lot of the ilusión, just like the excitement and enthusiasm that I had to do so many things, just diminished every day that I was in corporate. Like, it just did, because I would bring all these ideas and I was so excited, and there was always people who were like, como que, why are you doing so much? Like, do your job. Yeah, like, do your job, and like, that's it. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, I want to have an impact. The way that I think about it, it's like, dude, like, we have a limited time on earth, we have a limit of a time of what we're doing with our lives. Like, why am I gonna waste my brain, my heart, my talent, my love on something that's not even gonna do anything for anyone, right? And I don't know, I feel like it's a very intense way of thinking, but that's how I think. And right, I try to change roles, I try to change teams, I tried a different product, I even tried a different company, for God's sakes.
I don't know about anybody else, but I have been feeling so underwhelmed, so unfulfilled with like what I'm doing for work, even with like my side business, because it's not where it's supposed to be. Life has been feeling very unfulfilling. And I do so much, and I know the only one to blame for that is me. I keep sleeping on my skills and my talents just for security and safety. I used to be a very spontaneous person, but that was way before I had real responsibilities. But literally at my job, this client literally asked me, what are you doing here? Why are you wasting your time here? And everywhere I go, people say that. It's like I can't win for nothing.
If you're feeling stuck in an unfulfilling job, keep listening. 86% of us are unhappy and unfulfilled in our work. This lack of fulfillment creates a very uncomfortable internal conflict. That's because we're in the matrix. And when I say the matrix, what I mean is we are stuck in a system that keeps us doing things that we don't want to do just so we can survive. My question is this: are you here on this earth just to survive? Or do you secretly think and know that there is a bigger reason for your existence here? If you're like me, the latter is true. And if that's true for you, then that means that you have a responsibility to act on that. And the consequences of not acting on that are living a life of wishing that you had. Nobody gets to their deathbed grateful that they stayed in a job that replaced them right after they died. You are irreplaceable, but you need to figure out where you belong and how you can be of service. It requires work, but it's the most worthwhile work you'll ever do.
A quick reminder, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's continue the video.
More so just depressed and sad because I feel like I don't have anything to do.
Let's talk about this for a second, because this is a conversation that I end up in often, and not just related to influencing and content creating, but just careers in general, no matter what it is that you do for work. And typically the first question that I will ask when someone tells me they are bored at work, or they're not feeling fulfilled, or they don't feel like their potential is being maximized is, what else are you doing? Your job cannot be your only source of fulfillment. I was reading this book a few months ago, and it used this analogy that really highlighted the importance of why you need to find other sources of meaning and fulfillment in your life. And basically it compared it to an investor diversifying their investments and their assets. They don't typically invest in one thing. And the same should be true with how we approach our career. All that to say, before you quit your job or blow up your life because you're just super unhappy in your career, I encourage you to audit yourself and particularly other areas of your life for your fulfillment level. So your physical health, your relationships, your spiritual health, your financial health. Chances are, if you are indexing on the lower side for fulfillment in those areas, changing your job is not going to help. You are still going to feel the same way in a couple weeks or a couple of months. Take the time to really create a full life for yourself. Your career is ultimately going to ebb and flow. There are going to be seasons where you are feeling excited and challenged and, really loving what you're doing. And then there are going to be other times when you could care less and you don't want to be bothered. Both feelings are valid and normal. Ultimately, I just really want people to reframe their mindset around what it means to have a fulfilling career, and then also get clear on what that looks like for you, because it's going to be different for everybody.
I have never, ever been fulfilled at a job. Not one job. I don't get my fulfillment working for other people. I just don't. Ever since I was 16 years old, I have always had the mindset of entrepreneurship, thinking, how am I able to work and create a life for myself? I've always thought like that. And very soon I will be able to not work for anybody else again. I would say in about a year or so. I have always found joy in working for myself.
Why do we feel so unfulfilled in jobs that once gave us purpose? The problem is there's so many options. There's so many different paths. There's so many different avenues for you to go down. But yet there's this pressure that's put on us that whatever we pick to do needs to be right. And it also is going to be the thing that we do for the rest of our life. And then years pass and you're at this job and you feel so dissatisfied with where you are because one, you have evolved into a completely new person, but your role hasn't. And two, there's this part of you that is afraid of change because you are so comfortable and content with where you are, what you're doing. You can go to work, you can do it with your eyes shut, and that to you is easy. But the thing about that is it's not sustainable. And the truth is you do not have to settle for one job for the rest of your life. That whole narrative that we have heard is so outdated. Also, have you realized how many skills you have learned over your life that are completely transferable into any other job that you would rather do? I'm Kylie, and I help individuals navigate this career roller coaster because, one, if you are feeling unfulfilled in your current role, it is a sign that you have outgrown that role. And two, if you are feeling unfulfilled, it is a sign that you are looking for more of a purpose. So if you are feeling like you're lacking purpose and you have no clarity, I really encourage you to DM me and we can hop on a call.
Because I don't want to be a corporate baddie.
It's so interesting, the discourse around working, especially for people that are my age. I'm currently 24 years old, I'm an engineer, and I work in pharmaceuticals. With that being said, whenever I talk to my parents about how I'm just tired, how I don't want to work, they literally do not understand. That's not what I want to share. I feel like a lot of times we always say that we're tired, but I saw a meme the other day that literally grabbed me by my edges. Honestly, it might not even be the fact that we're tired of being corporate baddies. It's realizing that being a corporate baddie is not fulfilling us, and that it's okay to be interested in other things. I had to think about it, so do y'all.
If you are feeling unfulfilled in your work, maybe you feel like you are just at this point where it's pivotal and you're like, do I want to be in this job? I'm feeling lost about my next career move. I'm just feeling confused. I feel like I'm on this hamster wheel and I'm basically just going through the motions of life right now, and I have this stability, but I am unfulfilled. Just know this is pretty much anyone and everyone at some point in their professional career, and I want you to take a moment here to celebrate that you are at this point, because the matter of the fact is that you actually had an experience, you had professional growth in whatever it is that you were doing or have been doing to allow you to see what you do and do not want in a professional work environment. And you don't need to panic and say, I'm so unhappy and I'm going to just abruptly quit. quit, you can give yourself the space to figure it out. You can explore other things. You can explore opportunities. It doesn't have to be this all or nothing. And so everything you have done to get to this point of where you are has given you skills. It's giving you opportunity. It's given you teachings that you can take with you, even if you decide to pivot in your career. And just know it's not too late to start something else. It's not too late. You are not pigeonholed into what you are doing. But with that, really being mindful and finding a way to recognize what you're doing now is temporary. It's not your forever, and finding the gratitude in your present.
The real reason you're feeling unfulfilled in life and how to fix it. I want to share a story about my client because it'll make you understand why you may be feeling so unfulfilled in life. During a practice in my group coaching about if you didn't have a wounded inner child, who would you be? And she said, I would be traveling the world living out of a van. I wouldn't have got married and had kids at 23. This, my friends, is why you are so unfulfilled in life, is because your wounded inner child is running the show and you are disconnected from your true authentic self and what your true authentic self genuinely wants. Now let's talk about why this happened for my client. So when she was younger, these missionary people came into church and she was so excited. She was like, one day I'll be able to travel and go help these people, and her parents talked her out of it. And then when she was going to college, she had this countdown and her mom was mad that she had a countdown. She was like, why would you be excited to leave us? What happened is this left an imprint on her inner child that she should live her life for other people, that she shouldn't do anything that will upset her parents. So instead of doing what she really wanted to do, which was travel and live out of a van, she stayed around home. She did everything that she could to make sure that she pleased her parents and didn't upset her parents. This is why people are unfulfilled. Because their wounded inner child is running the show. They are living for other people and they are so fucking disconnected from who they truly are. And they're disconnected from what they really want out of life. And if you're disconnected from what you want out of life, it's hard to be fucking fulfilled. So if this sounds like you and you need support with this, please DM me or join my free community. Remember who the fuck you are. The link is in my bio.
You know what the number one thing is that you should figure out right now when it comes to your work and your career? Ask yourself the question, what is my purpose for working? Now, this can be a few different things for you. I've actually labeled 5 different reasons that somebody can have a purpose for working. Now, purpose isn't to be mistaken with passion. Let me give you the 5 reasons I believe that we can have a purpose for working. Number 1, to make money and just live life. That's it. Just maintain the life that you are living, which I believe is often underrated. You can just work a 9 to 5 and live life outside of that if you want. Number 2, to fund your passion or the thing that you really want to do. You don't have to make your passion your full-time work. You can make your work flexible so it fits around your passion. Number 3, your work purpose is your passion. Some people like to work on their passion and make money from it, and that's great. People can do that too.
You're in a career right now that you don't love, that doesn't fulfill you, that doesn't serve you, you are not stuck. You don't have to stay there if you don't want to. When I was 22, I had just graduated college and I got a job in the corporate world and I absolutely hated it. I hated not being able to be in charge of my schedule. I didn't feel fueled or fulfilled by the work that I was doing every day. Couldn't wait for the weekends, but then come Sunday, I had the Sunday scaries and just felt like I was on this vicious cycle. And I'm so thankful that I didn't stick it out. I know for a lot of people, if being in corporate America is what you ultimately want to do, you do have to stick it out. But if you're a creative and you're putting yourself into the corporate America box and forcing yourself to do something that you know is not fulfilling for you, stop. That's the best thing that I did, is I removed myself and started putting all of my time and attention and my passions into building something of my own. I work harder and I work more hours now than I ever did when I worked in the corporate world, but I'm so fueled by it and I love it so much that it doesn't feel draining like it used to. And I never would have gotten to this place at 30 years old if I didn't get uncomfortable and take some risks in my 20s. So if you are in your 20s and you feel like you are settling or you feel like you are stuck in a career right now that doesn't serve you and you know that is not part of the long-term vision of what you want, you might need to start building up some skills in some other areas to eventually be able to gain more experience, meet more people that are going to align you with the path that you see for yourself. But don't settle. If you are wasting away during the week, living for the weekends, you got to stop that cycle right now.
You work a job that you're not completely satisfied in and you don't know what to do. I'm in my hotel room on a Wednesday in the middle of the day in New York City, of all places. And I'm having a rest because in the morning we were filming content for a guy that I'm working with to build a brand. He flew me over here and it's crazy. It's been a week of madness. How did I get here? I kept doing what I love. I obsessed with what I loved and I started to express this online over the last almost 5 years. Now, how is that helpful for you? You got to do similar. And it doesn't mean you have to put a shit ton of content out into the world. It will help. But you need to express yourself. You need to put yourself out into the universe and the universe will give back if you want it badly enough. Got to have patience though.
Coworker bestie, it's not normal to hate your job so much that you're crying on your way to work, crying on your lunch, or crying on your breaks, whatever. That's not normal, okay? And I know you see the TikTok girlies on here that are crying about work and you think it's normal because everybody hates their job. No, that's not normal. It is normal to not want to work, okay? Nobody wants to work. We all just want to stay at home and relax, right? But it's not normal to hate your job so much that you're crying, okay? And if somebody or something at work is not making you happy and the job is not fixing it, guess what? Go look for another job. There's so many jobs hiring. You cannot be scared to try something new, okay? And you also have to realize you're spending 8 to 10 to 12 plus hours at a job, right? You know how many hours that is in a lifetime that you're spending unhappy at a job? It's not worth it. Nothing is worth your mental, nothing's worth your happiness, okay? No matter how much money you get paid, nothing is worth it, okay? Go look for a new job, go make yourself happy, go feel fulfilled, okay? It is possible. You just have to look for the right job.
Ever had that boss that made you feel like nothing was ever good enough? I remember in one of my previous roles, there was a boss. He wasn't even my main boss, but he had a problem with everything I did. He was just never happy. Even when I worked really hard, my team was succeeding. My manager was happy. He was just never happy. It was a nightmare and a very stressful period in my life. So this is to everyone out there who's going through this or who's been through it in the past. I'm sure you guys can relate. You're doing a good job. You're doing really well. Well done. Sending you lots of positive energy.
When it comes to a job, I ain't never gonna be satisfied. And let me tell you why. Because when I don't be getting hours and when they don't schedule me and shit, I be like, how the fuck they think I'm gonna support myself? Like, how am I gonna do this? I be sitting there smoking on a cigarette like I'm a single mother with 3 kids to 3 baby dads and all the bills due at one time. And then when they do schedule me, I be like, and I work like a dog day and night. Drinking coffee from a pot none of you want to touch.
I appreciate you guys watching the video today. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.